who that guy was that I replaced. The name escapes my memory. I know there was a front page in the New York Post a couple weeks ago with a big fat face looking kind of confused. And I know, but I don't remember the name. But the reason, and I don't like to mention this guy's name, I really don't. But the reason, and I'm not going to, but the reason I want to just refer to him in a second, and refer to him right now, is I have the opportunity to replace him. I had the opportunity to replace him. Matter of fact, some of the folks that are in this room were instrumental in making sure that that happened. And I'm still meeting people to this day. There's somebody who approached me today and says, I was an attorney in your district during the election 2 years ago. And I got to thank them and say, thank you so much for sending me there. I got the opportunity when I went up to sit with now my friend and colleague and ally, Susie Oppenheimer. Again, please give her a hand. And the reason I went there was because I had worked in the Senate before as a Democratic staffer. Matter of fact, I was chief of staff to Senator Stewart Cousins. For the first time. I'm sorry. She got elected the first time, but they stole it from us. And then she had to come and, win so big that they couldn't steal it from us, and they didn't. And I'm very happy to have her as a colleague as well. But in this movement that we were doing, we were trying to take over the majority of the state Senate. Now, we got there once. But obviously, there were a couple of knuckleheads, including my predecessor, who made it not hard, but impossible for us to have a cohesive, strong, progressive Democratic majority. We had a mess. And they did the best that they could, and they did a lot in those 2 years that they were in the majority. They passed Rockefeller drug law reform. They reformed prison-based gerrymandering. There's a lot of stuff that they got done in those 2 years, but then it fell apart, partly because of the knucklehead that I replaced. Now that knucklehead is not there anymore. And in the year and a half that I've been there, I've had the opportunity to work with Susie, to work with Andrea, and we are more than committed as Democrats to coming back to the majority. But to be able to do that, we need to make sure that if we have folks that are veterans, that have been holding up Democratic values for a long time, and they choose to do something else in their career, and I'm sure that whatever you do next, you're going to be awesome at it. But she chose to leave. So now we need somebody that not only can replace her, but that can measure up the energy of the rest of us to make sure that we can take over the majority with the right type of folks. No doubt that gentleman in that corner over there, Mr. George Lambert, who will be a colleague, will be a central part of us making sure that we take over the majority. And I'll tell you why. I've had the opportunity to know George for a few years, but I've really gotten to know him in the last couple of months. And every time that I've heard him speak, he is somebody not only that is hardworking, intelligent, thoughtful, funny, but someone who is not afraid to be a Democrat. Somebody who takes positions that sometimes might be a little politically unpopular, but then says, I will tell you why I take that position. It is based on policy and how it will impact my constituency. And then in an effective manner, he communicates why that is, that he took that position. That's exactly what we need in the Senate. Somebody who is not afraid to be a Democrat. And I know that Mike is not, I know that Andrea's not, I know that Susie's not. And this guy, George, is not going to be scared to be a Democrat. And he's going to help us say, this is what we stand for as a Democratic conference. There are some things that we believe in as Democrats, and that we want to make sure that those are the ideas that lead to policy, because the policy that comes from Democratic ideals leads to a better New York. It does. And we can make that argument, and we can make that stronger argument with George. But the reason I'm here today is not only to tell you how psyched I am to have him as a colleague, but to remind you about the fact that even though ultimately, when I went against the knucklehead, we kicked his butt all over the Bronx. And it looked like it had been an easy victory. But I'm here to assure you that it was not. And I'm here to assure you that what made sure that we had that victory was people just like yourselves, but in the Bronx. Right? And some of you went down to the Bronx, and I thank you for that. But the real important thing of being here and being able to look you in the face and say, you are people from right here, from Harrison, from Westchester. It is you who is going to make that difference. The fact that you are here today, make sure that this is not the last time that you come into this office, but that you don't spend a lot of time in this office, because you're going to go right back outside and talk to your neighbors, to your friends, and to your families. This is too important. If you are Democrats and you believe that in a Democratic majority, we will be able to defend a woman's right to choose, talk about affordable health care, talk about fair education talk about fair taxation or good education for our kids. If we believe that Democrats need to be in the majority to make sure that happens, then you need to work your butts off to make sure that George Latimer is the next senator in this state. I believe he will be, and I'm going to do what I can. I think you got a couple of Latino constituents, do you not?
I have a few.
You have a few? Yo voy a estar aquí en Westchester asegurándome que él sea el próximo senador estatal. Ladies and gentlemen, again, make sure that this is not the last time that you come in here, but that you go out and do all the work that's necessary to get him elected. Because we, Mike, Andrea, we need this guy up in the state senate. Ladies and gentlemen, my friend, my colleague, George Latimer.